All right, I think we're actually live now. We're good. Stream. I don't know, the Garfield mashup, like Garfield, fake
Someone
Garfield
put a lot of
anything.
effort into this fake Nintendo Direct video.
Fake Garfield anything is something that I just always find really funny, and I don't really know why.
Garfield is this thing that like was like it was no good.
I have this weird
Like,
like,
the act-
memory
it's-
of liking Garfield as a kid.
All right, well, okay, so like it's like because you watched the TV show, right?
True.
It's this weird thing where the thing itself is bad, but anything made from the thing, all of these spin-offs of the thing,
like John.
that are not made by the guy who originally created the thing, right? The TV show, greeting cards, toys.
What was the what was it? It was what was it called? The
Garfield and
show.
Friends,
No, but what was the name of that other segment that was just all the farm animals?
something farm.
It had a name. I just don't
Just
remember.
Google it. You'll find it in 2 seconds. Just
I
type
guess I could.
just type Garfield and Friends. I could have typed it already. Control T, Garfield and Friends. Enter.
All right, I guess I'll just start. Oh, it's exit.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's like a good musical instrument.
That's one of those found music things.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday, September 12th, 2017. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we're talking about Exit, the game, The Secret Lab. Oh, there's already people watching.
One person. That's probably you. It's probably counting.
No, I'm not watching anymore.
It's counting you.
I'm not watching. It doesn't count me if I'm on this screen. It's Rochelle. It's Ro.
Don't you have something better to do, Ro?
It's not Green Acres. Green Acres is a show. Green Acres is the place for me.
No, it was something. It
Land-
was something acres though.
Farm living is the life for me.
It was something
Land
acres.
spreading out so far and I know all the lyrics to that song.
Doesn't matter. It was some. It was
Give me
some.
that countryside.
It was something acres. She's half
Farm
correct.
Acres, USA.
No, it was something acres.
Farm Acres.
No, just why not just type in Garfield and Friends and you'll go to the wiki.
US Acres.
Yes.
Got it. Got it.
Was it USA?
Oh,
I don't
there's
know.
two
Was it
people in the
US
chat.
Acres? Oh
Yeah, it
my-
was US Acres. I just confirmed it.
Why would there was nothing about it that was US. That's the thing.
It was definitely Americana Farm. It wasn't like
No, but there wasn't like what about it was like
Rose on the bus. Oh, the we had the sign, your pro row sign hanging up over there, but it looks like it fell, and I'm not gonna go get it. All right, let's just start. We both got a ton of opening bits. I'm not gonna talk about my job. Talk about other stuff, like Utah. So yeah, we're back from basically a 2-week hiatus because we had PAX West, which basically is a full week, and then I went straight from PAX to New York, and then immediately back to Utah to go mountain biking. And now we're back. I'm back in my normal life. And we played a lot of games at PAX that we had not played before.
We played like every game people brought, plus games that were at PAX that were new, plus everything.
Yep. I think offhand, the games that stick out the most, which we're not going to talk about on this show, we got to save it. Black Friday, like, really was better than I could have possibly expected.
Maybe the best stock market game I've played, where you're buying and selling stocks, and
Yep.
their prices are
Downforce
going up and down.
Downforce was fun, but a little disappointing. Like, there's not as much to it as Camel Up.
Yeah, Downforce is.
I like it.
It's a good game that I like. I just wonder how many plays it has. It's one of those games that it's like good, should buy, but eventually you're not going to use all those score sheets before you don't want to play Downforce anymore.
And unlike Formula D, it doesn't seem like it could expand as easily.
I think it could expand.
You'd have to
but
add mechanics,
however,
not just new maps.
Right, yes.
Formula D expands just by a new map. Like I have the Singapore map, totally different game.
Yes, it could expand, which would make it, extend it quite a bit. The problem is it should have had that expansion in the original box already.
Yeah, because we played on the most advanced mode that was in that box, and it was not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that game was.
Nice trick-taking game.
That we never finished because of the seventh guest.
But it was super backwards, that game. It's the backwards trick-taking game.
Yeah, you don't have to follow suit, and literally everything's Trump except the suit that was led. So,
Yep.
that game, it's like Hearts, but you don't have to follow suit, and everything's the queen.
Yep.
So, yeah, but we'll talk about all those games in due course on various shows as we come up. And, yeah, we're back from PAX. I didn't die mountain biking. I actually only got a minor injury this year.
Oh, only a minor injury.
So I realized something at doing this mountain biking again, because basically there were two other people who were like pro at it and some other people who said they'd mountain bike before, but I've realized that when most people say mountain biking, what they imagine is something that is not mountain biking. They imagine riding a mountain bike in the woods. They imagine riding a hybrid bike in the woods. They imagine riding a mountain bike on a trail. Some of them seem to just imagine riding a mountain bike.
Well, mountain biking is not usually televised that often, right? So people think like, biking on a mountain on a road is not mountain biking. That's road biking. You don't even use a mountain bike for that.
Yep.
The Tour de France
biking on a dirt road.
And the Tour de France, they go up mountains in the Alps that are way bigger than any mountain you're going to mountain bike on. And they're not using a mountain bike.
Yep. So it's a good time, but one person who was with us was like, yeah, I've mountain biked once or twice. And then we get on the lift, and he's like, why are we on a ski lift? And we're like, you're fucked, dude.
You have not mountain biked before, apparently.
So, and then even in the forum, I was like, yo, does anyone mountain bike? Because I don't think I know anyone who mountain bikes.
It's not really that common a thing.
It's only common, I think, in places where, like, it is common. Like, if you live in a ski town, in the summer, people mountain bike because there's nothing else to do there.
Yeah, lots of people have mountain bikes, but they're not, actual mountain biking is not a common activity.
But someone in the forum was like, well, why don't you do cyclocross? Cyclocross
is not even remotely close to mountain biking.
And also does not look fun. I don't like bicycle racing that is primarily dependent upon your pure physical ability.
So I actually do.
Like foot racing is?
So here's the thing. I actually do think cyclocross looks fun. However, I'm not interested in racing. I just want to bike on a fun obstacle course without any, conditions of trying to win or anything.
Yep.
Right?
Mountain
But
biking's more like
the fact that no one's doing cyclocross without the racing part, so that makes me not interested.
But mountain biking's the opposite. Most people are just doing it for the thrill of like, what's the puzzle? How do I get down this trail? They're not racing. Like, there are people who race, but it's flipped. They're the minority.
Mm-hmm.
But I've determined that I'm actually real good at mountain biking.
Let's find a professional mountain biker and see what they have to say about that.
So two of the people I was racing with, we started kind of racing because they were pros. Like, they're for serious.
They get paid to mountain bike. That's their job.
They compete. One of them is an instructor. And yeah, they're like, I'm good at it apparently, but I don't think I could teach it because the last instruction I got was like a kid, and I just kind of do it. I don't think about it that much. The only problem is, were
you doing like the dangerous deadly jumps like I see with GoPros on YouTube?
I don't like jumping, but even skiing, I don't do jumps so much. I mostly focus on technical tracks.
Well, that's what pro people are doing.
There's different kinds of even mountain bikes.
Riding on some really crazy narrow thing fast.
Narrow thing fast is real easy. That's called single track. That's what I did. I did that so much as a kid.
If you move a little bit to the side, you die.
Yeah, I did that so much as a kid that's second nature. Like, I am more comfortable doing that than I am, like, going fast downhill on a road bike. Like, yeah. Well, you remember, even you were on a nice road bike. We were going downhill. You were braking, right? Because it's scary to go that fast on a bike.
I always brake. I brake more than everybody. I did the Century, and I realized, like, oh, everyone gets away from me on the downhill. Oh, I'm braking way more than everybody.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like, I didn't think I was slower than that guy, but I guess he's just less afraid to go fast down the hill than I am.
So I am less afraid of going fast downhill on a mountain bike than I am on a road bike.
I mean, I just don't want to. There's a certain speed at which, I just don't want to go faster than that, period.
Yep. Also, mountain biking, you'll be going real fast, and then it's like car racing where you brake real hard to get around a corner and then accelerate again.
Nope, I brake way, way, way in advance and go around the corner nice and slow, and then go fast again, and with nice, smooth acceleration, though.
Yep. The one thing, though,
I do not like accelerating or decelerating rapidly no matter what. I will brake a mile in fucking advance.
But Black Dynamite, accelerating and decelerating is what I enjoy the most. That's what I do in the community.
That's why I don't go in your community.
So how was that Century?
Basically, you wake up at the crack ass of dawn.
Yep.
You go to Central Park, so it's already putting some miles on. I almost got worried because I'm like, I don't want to go the long way over the Queensboro. I'm gonna go over Randall's Island to get to the start because it starts at the top of Central Park, right? And I'm like, all right, let's go there the Randall's Island way. And it's dark, and I'm on Randall's Island, and there's people on Randall's Island at 5 a.m., I guess.
What, doing what?
I don't fucking know. There were cars there and shit.
Maybe it might be, you know what? Actually, it's probably kid baseball stuff.
No, they were going to like, the I think at least one person was driving to the Nut House. I don't know if Nut House is a derogatory term. I'm sorry.
Unrelatedly, apparently there was this was a Fark story. I was going to use my thing today, but I didn't. On Randall's Island, there's concerts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't bring liquor into those concerts.
Mm-mm.
So this dude buried bottles of vodka on the island 2 weeks before a concert and dug him up at the concert, documented everything, and they interviewed his friend, and his friend said, and I quote, "The man is a legend."
I am against the drinking of poison, but that man is truly a legend.
That is you respect the game. Like in a
Why did he not also bury weed?
It's like if John Wick was real. You don't respect killing's bad.
Why not also throw a gun down there?
But you respect the craft of it, even if what they did is bad.
Anyway, and then at 6 a.m., they did some hoo-ha, and then you just started biking. You're basically just biking on New York City streets. There's no closed roads or anything unless you're doing the baby route, which means you start in Prospect Park. And you just go fucking everywhere. Right? You go down Manhattan.
Look at your Strava. You're just like,
you go down, you go over the Brooklyn Bridge early enough in the morning that there's no one in your way. You go down Rockaway, you're going past the beach. You're just going fucking everywhere, right? Way out east, way north of the Throg's Neck. You go, and then you get back to Astoria Park, and it's like, oh, you think you're going back to Manhattan? No, you go all the way to the Bronx, past the Botanical Garden, and then all the way ass back down, and then it's over.
Which makes sense when I think about it. Like, I do there's a 60 mile ride that I do kind of often. That's basically all the way down to Rockaway, all the way across, and then back around the long way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already a long way.
So,
add 40 more miles to that.
Right. So first of all, even though the road is not closed, you're with a bunch of people. Like, I was worried that because it's so long and there wasn't that many people doing it, I might end up alone and lost.
Nah.
But no, I was with a bunch of people pretty much the whole time. There was always people. So, and when you're riding with the people, I guess you get this sort of added, safety benefit. But some drunk driver hit people at 8 in the morning or something. Not where I was. Also, there's a bunch of rest stops. So you can stop and get bananas and water and food. And
I'm a big fan of the supported ride.
Watermelon. Watermelon was excellent. But there was one rest stop, the Throg's Neck one, that was, for 100-mile people only, and that one was no good. They had one kind of Cliff Bar, and that was it. They didn't have fruit. They had water, and there's one kind of Cliff Bar and nothing else. It's just really?
That's a shame.
And that was when I needed it the most because I was feeling the worst around then, right? But then, once we started going towards Astoria, which was a bad, easy ride because it was such a familiar ride, I got another wind. And then I was like, wee! The whole rest of the time, I was like, whatever. I was getting slow out when I was out east, like the Alley Pond Park and, such. But then once after that, it was easy goings, no problems. There were a few, basically, because there's not a whole lot of markings. Basically, someone goes around spray painting on the street in yellow the letter C with an arrow. And you can also get the cue sheet, but the app to load the GPS data in is money every month, so no one's paying for that shit, right? So if you're not reading the cue sheet, there were a few times where we missed a turn and had to turn around again. One time I was with a whole bunch of people and we all went the wrong way.
That's the worst.
And then someone straightened us out and the whole group got back on track. There was a couple parts that were real bad. We were next to a highway, and the path for biking that was next to the highway was blocked by construction. And it's didn't someone just make this route? Did this construction show up yesterday? So we had to
It's New York. It probably did.
We had to throw our bikes over the guardrail, walk on the shoulder of the highway, and then throw our bikes back over the guardrail. That was real bad. I think there might have been another spot that was iffy like that. That was no good.
So one of our mountain bike routes, we get to a spot, and on the ski resort where we're mountain biking through the woods, there was construction, and the trail we tried to get to was closed. So we had to go down a regular road instead, a dirt road. That is way more dangerous than just biking through the woods.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was no. Because you're in New York City, there were no hills that were a significant worry, right? And the thing is, it's the funniest part was after we finished, we're at the north of Central Park, and I got to go home. And it's like, oh, how do we get home? And there's like that hill at the back of Central Park is right there. And it's like I already biked out over 100 miles, and to go home, I got to go up another stupid hill, right? And it's like, but then I was still had that other win, so it wasn't a problem. But it's like, it really puts into perspective. Like, normally you just go up that hill, no problem, and there's these tourists struggling.
Yep.
But it's like, I already did 100 miles, and there's tourists struggling, and I'm flying past them.
That's my situation. Like on the way to PAX,
but meanwhile,
I had my 50-pound bag.
But meanwhile, when I'm doing the Century, the pro Lance Armstrong type people are
whooshing past you.
They're flying past me like whoosh, and I fly past this tourist, and it's like, wow, the like amount of skill disparity of biking is so wide. It's so right.
Well, I'm not even going to say skill. You know what it is? Most people are not athletic at all.
Or like
America.
not knowing how to use a gear.
Oh yeah, that too. That too. See, at least on the mountain bike, my smallest gear, my front gear, there's only one, and it's tiny. And my biggest gear in the back is bigger than the biggest gear on my current bike in the front.
Right. But yeah, I think the thing is, if you want to, see a whole lot of New York City and bike a whole lot of New York City in a way that is generally safer than doing it on your own with a lot of rest stops and comfort, and also bike a whole lot in one day. We started at 6 a.m. We finished at like 5. I got home more like 5:36 because, I waited at the end, hung out, and then biked home, right?
Yeah.
And you're near New York City. I don't know if I traveled to New York to do this. It's worth it. But it's going to take you longer than doing a Century somewhere else because of all the red lights and stuff. If we did the 100 miles somewhere else, it would have been way faster without red lights.
Of course, the 100 miles.
But it's less hilly because it's New York. There were only like a couple hill situations, and they weren't really
That's the trouble with
significant.
We could probably do the Century on the Harlem Valley Rail Ride, but that's more mountain.
Well, I think I could almost definitely do the leg. They have a leg saving version.
Yeah.
I could definitely do that.
I feel like that's the one I'd do.
It only has 2 hills, right? Whereas the 70 we did this year had 1 hill. That was big.
Of all the people who got kicked out of the Century and had to go like on the pleb route at the end, because I was talking to a bunch of them, everyone I met who got kicked out was doing the leg saver. I didn't meet anyone who got kicked out who did the real one.
I think no one does the real one unless they're definitely for sure pro, right?
Shane wants to know how sore you are. You sore?
Not really, because I don't when I do athletic activities.
Scott goes way slow when he does
the
anything.
only athletic activity I do is biking, and I don't ever exert myself to, like, if it's like, Rim like huffing puffing, right?
I like to go fast.
He's trying hard to try to go fast, so pedal harder, right? Whereas I'm always comfortable. If I'm not comfortable, I try less. Like, I'll go in the lower gear and go do 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 do, just so I'm always like at all times. I'm never huffing and puffing.
I'm trying to beat my Strava times.
I mean, I don't pay attention to Strava times. I push record when I start, and I don't look at it again until I'm done, just to record the route. I don't care about I don't even know how many trophies I got. But I guess you still biked 100 miles. Like, the top of my thighs were like obviously used. It's a little hard whenever even if I bike less than that, it's hard to walk up and down stairs for a little while, and that's about it.
So yeah, we're back from PAX, and expect like 10 different shows of reviews of everything. And the first news we got, because this is probably
we're gonna hit another PAX before we run out of shows from this PAX.
Unplugged is real soon.
Super soon.
And OS is even sooner.
Not going to that.
If I hadn't changed jobs, I would have been going to it, but I'm not going now.
Well, you don't have a plane ticket already.
I don't have a free pass to go to it.
Right, well, I'm just saying, you sure you didn't spend money on a plane ticket that's not being canceled or something?
No, I didn't do anything like that.
Oh, okay.
But
why are you making noise? Why are you turning it on? It's not hot.
Super hot.
It's cold.
It's way hot in here.
It's cold.
I think you're out of blood.
Mm-hmm.
There's something up with you. I think someone took all your blood.
Uh-huh.
You get cold all the time suddenly.
Vampire.
What are you going to be like when you're 90?
Cold. I'm going to move to Florida like a Jew. Well, not necessarily Florida, but, someplace with a palm tree.
So while we were at PAX, this news, like I saw rumblings of this news, mostly through people reacting.
It's not really a news so much as it's
a conversation that has happened before was rekindled for various reasons.
Right. So basically, there's this platforming game that's I don't know if it's a good platforming game. I haven't played it, but I've seen it for quite a while.
I played a demo of it, and the only thing I'll say is that
the
controls felt really good.
Right.
Like they felt Super Meat Boy tight.
The visuals of this platforming game look like an old school Mickey Mouse cartoon, which is an aesthetic that is down my alley. I love that shit. So that makes me want to at least play a demo of this game, if not pay for it and play it for real. But regardless, this is a platforming game that apparently has some difficulty to it. It is not easy. And there was a reviewer who was playing the game, and they sucked. They suck so bad. Oh, did they suck? They sucked. So
now that's not news.
The gaming community was like, hey, are you qualified to fucking review this game if you suck so much at this game?
I got it real clear. Being good
Are you qualified to review a car if you suck at driving? Are you qualified to review a guitar if you can't play it well?
So the problem being good at games is not the important skill. Having knowledge about games is the important skill.
That is correct.
So I'm not mad. Like I've reviewed board game Age of Steam. Where imagine if there was video of us playing Age of Steam before we reviewed it. That game kicked our asses.
It sure did, and I don't think I'm ever going to become good at Age of Steam.
But we knew the history of some train games at that point.
Yes, I can understand Age of Steam without being good at it. I can understand Go without being good at it because I have a knowledge of games.
And
the number one qualification for reviewing things with text is writing. And the number one qualification for reviewing things with words is eloquence.
Look.
And the number two qualification is knowledge.
Siskel and Ebert did not have the skills to make movies.
No, they didn't.
Yet they knew what made movies good.
And Ebert tried.
Yeah.
I think Ebert was the one who tried and did not make a good movie, right? But it's like, I can't design anything for shit, but at work I can sit there and look at websites, and I can't really, I can say the font is wrong, even though I couldn't tell you what font is right.
Yep.
Now
I don't want to get too deep into this because I feel like there's a whole show here.
There is definitely a whole show about this. I think we will make the next Tuesday show all about this unless something else comes up.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get that point across that, like,
I feel like the people
way back there was a dude who reviewed something for Kotaku and like he hadn't played Doom, and it's like, and I actually met him at PAX and asked him about it. And he was like, yeah, people tried to get me to do Z-Doom and I couldn't make it work. And I was like, that is a problem, right? Like you hadn't, it's like, it's okay to suck at Doom. I'm not expecting you to like beat Doom on Nightmare, right? But if you haven't played Doom and you can't even get it to work, I think that makes you unqualified to at least review FPSs on the PC.
Now, to be fair, there is a space in general media review and critique for the naive commentary versus the expert commentary versus the academic commentary.
Obviously, if you're someone who's an expert platformer, your review of this coming from even, a great reviewer who isn't a skilled platformer is not going to be good. It's not going to help you because that person
imagine the review
isn't looking for what you're looking for.
Imagine the review of the unmodified original Tumbleseed by someone who is an ice cold beer champion.
Exactly.
That review would be very different and probably just as useless as someone who had never heard of ice cold beer.
That being said, a good reviewer knows all their possible audience and can write to the whole, multiple audiences such that no matter who's reading it, they'll be able to figure out if it's for them or not, even if it was or was not for the review.
But while simultaneously being very upfront and clear about where their review was coming from and what they know and don't know and what skills they have or don't have.
Yes, but the point is you don't need skill is not as important as knowledge and writing skill. Game skill is like the third thing, if even that. It might be lower than that.
And I think most of the people who are making a big ruckus about this are Gomergate shitheads.
Well,
that was the impression I got.
I think I empathize with them in the same way as when I watch someone in the Omegathon, right? It's like, if you're, it's like if I could play Mario and I'm watching someone else play Mario and then hit the first Goomba and they don't get better, I feel this like frustration. Like, why you know better? Why you know improve? I must help you, grr, right? And that, you might, express this anger by saying, "You're unqualified to be a reviewer," right?
It's like, no, you're unqualified to be an Omeganaut.
Sure, but it's like, how you express that anger might be with false, insulting statements or who knows how. But I also have those feelings when I see someone.
Oh, yeah, but I feel like most of the rabid, angry response to this was the gaming journalism must be objective types, which is this whole other ball game of the Venn diagram between
you can be objective
them,
while being shitty at something.
Oh, yeah. But the Venn diagram between people who say those keywords and people who are Gomergator shitheads is nearly a circle.
Mm-hmm.
So, in some other news, Metroid Samus Returns comes out, real soon?
Like a couple days, right?
So
3 days. I think we talked about this when they announced it.
Also, I farted real bad, and I'm sorry.
But they remade Metroid 2, which is a game that there was a fan remake of because Metroid 2, if you don't know, was a Game Boy game only, right? That was it. There was I guess it was also for the Super Game Boy, technically speaking.
Like the old Mario Land?
Yes.
Mario Land 1?
Yes, like that, right? So if you played it on the Super Game Boy, it had better colors. And I don't remember exactly. It may have been re-released on a DX cartridge, which meant it had slightly better colors if you played it on a Game Boy Color, but could still be played on a regular Game Boy in black and white, as well as Super Game Boy. And I guess could also be played in a GBA with Game Boy Color colors. But that was it. It was never released to anything else. And a lot of people have access to play Metroid 1 because that game was re-released in virtual consoles and things, right? And people can obviously play Super Metroid very easily.
Yep.
But Metroid 2 has been hard to play without an emulator. And now it's finally, Metroid Zero Mission came out for GBA and stuff, right? There were remakes. Metroid 2 was not remade. So people don't know, in Metroid 1, Samus goes to planet Zebes, where the space pirates are, using Metroids to conduct evil experiments and whatnot, and be evil.
And you don't see any Metroids until basically the end of the game.
Right, because that's in the Mother Brain's secret lab is where the Metroids are. Right? And then, in Super Metroid, the game starts, and it's like the last Metroid is in captivity, the galaxy is at peace, right? And it's like, what happened in Metroid 2? Well, every Metroid except for the last one was in captivity because of what happens in Metroid 2, right? In Metroid 2, Samus goes to the home world of Metroids and fucking murders all the Metroids except one. And that is Metroid 2. And a lot of people have missed out on that shit because it's an original Game Boy game.
Now, this is a remake, meaning it is very different from Metroid 2.
It is a Bionic Commando rearmed, or maybe even more than that, but it is still go to planet SR 388 and kill all the Metroids.
Yep. I think the biggest difference is I haven't played it yet. I didn't get a review copy or anything.
It's a much more modern game.
But I don't know, because you have fine-grained aiming.
Yep.
Which was not a thing in the old days.
You just had 8-way aiming.
And there's this weird sort of like counterattack system, like a fighting game.
Yeah, it's an action platformer. That's the kind of thing that's in Metroid games.
I'm very curious
anyway.
How much like a Metroid game it'll feel.
I'm pretty sure it'll be a very similar map, a very similar enemy location, same story, same general deal, right?
Yep.
I don't trust reviews really, but it's getting good reviews. But I heard
it's getting very good reviews.
I heard the studio that made it has not had a good track record, but it doesn't matter. It's like, okay, I can finally play Metroid 2 in a tolerable fashion. The fan remake got shut down. This is your chance, because even if you do emulate the original Metroid 2, it's not the greatest experience, but you still want to get the whole Metroid experience. It's still a great game, so I think this is going to be good. I'm going to play it.
Yep. So, in some other news, while I was gone at PAX, the season of Overwatch ended, new season began, and all that nonsense. They added, because they keep adding modes. If you haven't played Overwatch, it has like the regular quick play the normal game, and it doesn't matter for fun. It has competitive, which is serious and ranked, and it has the arcade, where basically that replaces the mods that would be in the old FPSs that people would host themselves. But they actually do game design on the mods and change them. So like the arcade rotates in these game modes, and a lot of them are pretty great. But they added something that I didn't think they would actually add. They actually added straight up deathmatch. 8 people, pick a character, fucking frags win. Kill the most
Is there
people.
a character that's OP in deathmatch?
So
Because you're not trying to area control or anything?
I've noticed that because I played like 10 or 15 games of it last night just to see so I could talk about it. It seems like people who are exceptionally good snipers are invincible and win all the time.
That makes sense.
People who are not exceptional snipers but who choose a sniper are garbage worthless and get like 0 kills.
That makes sense. That's what's been true for FPS.
Junkrat, the demo man equivalent, the throw bombs everywhere, seems to win most games.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I noticed that, and
That is not typical of old. The sniper thing you just said has been true since they've made a sniper rifle in an FPS.
so it kind of makes sense because when I
But the demo man thing, it's not new.
so when I played
I mean, that is new.
the equivalent of the demo man back in like Weapons Factory, and we played in deathmatch modes, I would just spam common areas and people would just die. And that seems
you
to
think
be-
it's because it's low skill people? Well, you think the demo
no, I
man
think
is
it's
good at
high
clean,
skill people spamming.
right? But say it's low skill people walking into the spam.
Oh, yeah.
If it was a game of all high skill people, that spamming tactic wouldn't be worth anything because no one would go in there.
Farah, flying rocket marine, doesn't seem to do so well because she gets sniped out of the sky all the time.
Oh, because it's not as fast as
The self healers do pretty well, like people who can heal themselves. But I won like one.
You give up less frags that way, even if you get less frags.
Yep, I won one of them that I played, and I won hard. And the one I won, I picked the character who can leave 6 little sentries around, and I made death rooms, and people just walked into them and died.
Similar to the demo man strategy of spamming.
And when I did that, people were, man, Symmetra's so overpowered. Man, Rim, stop being so cheap, you cheap piece of shit. And I won. So,
Eat it.
and also, when someone else tried to do the same thing, it's trivial to counters. I don't know what these kids are complaining about.
They suck.
Yeah. But I'm very happy that the Overwatch team is continuing to invest significant design resources in the like weird mod arcade because they keep changing these modes. Like they had a lockout mode where it's like 2 teams.
See,
and you fight to the death over and over again, but there's all this stuff in there. They keep modifying the rules of that mode to make it fairer and more interesting.
this is the thing that I find the most interesting, right? Is that, you know, for a game like Hearthstone, they keep investing in it, and it's like, well, yeah, because if you play it, you got to keep spending more fucking money.
Yep.
Right? But Overwatch, get me wrong, is $50 once, and that's it. You get everything forever.
You can buy packages of loot boxes.
But those are like skins and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People appear to buy them.
Okay.
I mean, I got like
so that's-
200. I'd give them to you.
I
but
forgot about those.
I'd give them to you,
Because-
but you can't trade them. They're just in my account. I'm not opening them.
I did forget about those. All right, so that's why they continue to invest in the game.
But
Because
also, it appears that there is a constant like new players joining the game. And you got to have enough.
yeah,
of a
but I'm just,
community.
I'm just wondering how long that can't last forever. The new player part, the skin part, is what keeps it going, like Dota,
Yep.
right?
The competitive aspect might keep a core going forever, Counter-Strike style, and the esports can probably
Right, but if
generate money.
but as long as the esports continues, people have an interest in playing and competing, and I guess some of those people like skins.
So think of this though. Remember, Tribes 2, even Counter-Strike, had the issue that was both a positive and a negative where people could make mods. And like there was an era when even when I tried to play Counter-Strike, half the servers were like this World of Warcraft, like the bullshittiest of bullshit mods.
Mm-hmm.
And yet people want that stuff, but fans who make mods tend to be garbage at it.
Mm-hmm.
So Blizzard realized what to do. They make all the crazy mods, but they make them good.
Yeah, well, let me tell you that I read the story. Did you read the story about the PUBG guy? How it happened?
No, I did not.
I'll tell you that.
But I'm gonna
I'll
buy
tell you
PUBG.
that after.
Okay, because I'm going to play PUBG so we can talk about it.
PUBG seems like this unavoidable thing. I don't want to do it
Yeah,
because
no.
it's just so but it seems like I got to do it just because it's so big. You know, the same thing we talk about when like everyone's talking about Mahoutsukai Tai, not Mahoutsukai Tai.
Madoka
Magica. I guess everyone's talking about this My Little Pony. I guess we got to go see what the deal is. Well,
Yep.
PUBG is at that level where it's like, all right, I guess we
It
still.
might
I
not be
guess
the
we,
best game,
I
but
guess
the
we got to
story-
see what the deal
the
is.
stories that are coming out of it are pretty good.
I need to find the tutorial how to mute everyone though.
Yeah.
Somebody send me the tutorial on how to mute everyone in PUBG, and then maybe we'll try it out.
We should team up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
50% chance of winning?
Well, how do we know if we found each other?
I don't know. I barely know how the game works.
Oh, I can explain it to you after.
I mean, I know the gist of it.
I did a ton of research on it. I just haven't played it
I'm just gonna play
bought it. You should probably we should probably combine the research and the playing together.
Yeah. All right, I guess we'll just get into the main bit because we've already gone like 30 minutes.
Whatever. The PUBG guy made a mod, and basically, he was making the mod in some other games, but then the actual some other people who made Battlegrounds, right, hired him, brought him to Korea, and were like, make the mod for like a real game on our platform with our devs. Here's money, here's staff, and that's how PUBG got made. And then it just exploded because it was so popular.
All right.
And basically, the way the game works. It's like this.
Now I know the basis of the way the game works. The area slowly shrinks.
It's battle royale.
Last man standing.
You start with nothing. Everything you get is stuff you find.
Yep. And if you're outside of the area, you're just
last
gone.
man standing, and the area slowly gets smaller, but starts out enormous.
And from what I've seen, the like people.
So everyone
is
forced to get into the middle.
Like the rim strategy is an effective strategy.
The rim strategy is a very effective strategy. A pro guy who won recently was using the rim strategy of
and
generally avoid stuff until the end.
Yep. All right.
So that's also some people like there was the one funny video I saw. Basically, some Chinese people were teaming up by wearing red shirts so that they would all know who each other were. So some guy realized that.
So he wore a red shirt?
He wore a red shirt. He got in their van. He hung out with them a whole bunch.
And then sudden murder.
And then there was a time when they were all sitting in a house, and he just tossed a grenade and murdered literally all of them with the one grenade. There's a video of this. It's great.
That is magical.
It is magical. What was my thing of the day again? All right, BCK's big...
BCK Balls, Big
BCK
Adventure.
Balls, Big Adventure. Right, okay. It's
huge
part
big
2.
adventure. All right.
Is part 1 there on YouTube?
I don't know.
You could link part 1 also if you can find it.
But anyway, things of the day. So what do you got?
So someone posted this as their thing of the day in our forum, where you should go to see things like this. And I thought it was so good, I'll steal it and make it my thing of the day.
It's real good.
So this is BCK Balls Big Adventure Part 2. I presume there's a Part 1. Who knows if there's a Part 3? It seems like it's from a Japanese television show, perhaps a children's Japanese television show would be my guess.
I'm pretty sure it's in the same universe as Tumbleseed and Pythagoras Suichi.
Right. So what the deal is, it's basically sort of a Rube Goldberg machine that is telling a story about BCK Ball, who's a character who is a ball. And it's like usually you see a Rube Goldberg machine and it has to be like an impressive machine to like really, impress you. But this one, because they incorporate a story into it, it really gives a lot of life and I guess whimsy to what's otherwise just a pretty good Rube Goldberg machine.
This is real good.
Yeah, so this is a video that brings joy and happiness to the world. And therefore, you should watch it.
So, we're old enough to where I went to LAN parties as a kid, meaning I took my computer, I took a 19-inch
Your Pentium 2 computer?
My Pentium 2.
With 200 megahertz?
Yeah, yep. And a 19-inch
How many megabytes of RAM did that computer have?
It had
32?
I think it only had 16. I think I upgraded it at one point.
16 megabytes of RAM.
And I bought a really good sound card.
It had a floppy drive?
Yeah, it had, but it only had the 3 1/4, not the 5 1/2.
Oh.
But I remember sitting in a car with my giant CRT in my lap.
LCD monitors did not exist?
Yeah, it's not even like existed but weren't good for gaming. Did not exist.
Were not invented yet.
Now, this picture is from way later than that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is
This
still,
is when we were in perhaps college, the early 2000s.
If you look at this picture,
guess.
you see a primitive LCD that probably does not have a sufficient refresh rate to actually play games.
Mm-hmm.
You see old Counter-Strike on a CRT.
Mm-hmm. Real Counter-Strike, the kind I played.
And more, this picture is obviously taken with a non-digital camera, it appears.
Oh, yeah.
Or
a really shitty digital camera that used floppy disks for its storage.
We had one of those. And there's a kid duct-taped, hanging from the ceiling, playing a game on his computer.
Mm-hmm.
This is my thing of the day because some reporters basically... This picture's kind of famous. Like, you'd see it off and on.
I have seen this blessed image before.
Someone tracked these kids down and figured out exactly what happened.
All right.
Why he was on the ceiling.
Where are they now?
This is a where are they now? This was a the kid on the ceiling. That was the second attempt because the first attempt almost ended in loss of limbs due to loss of blood flow to said limbs.
Yo, I mean, that's not an easy. You got to, you're not going to figure that out in the first attempt, right? It's a learning experience, a little trial and error going on.
I love when there is a weird, like, widely known image on the internet and someone goes and figures out the story behind it because those stories are often way more interesting than you'd expect.
I mean, we know the story of the goatsy guy, right?
Yeah, we do. I know the story of a couple of images I won't share because I was there. And I'm not going to ever talk about them because I do not want the internet's baleful gaze to find the people that were involved for obvious reasons, if you know what those images were.
What images are you talking about?
You know the kid, you won the prize, that image? The mentally challenged kid getting an award? I know the names of everyone in that image.
Okay. Let me see if I can find this image.
I'm not going to pull it up here because I'm on the stream, and I just don't want anyone to find these kids. But, yeah. Not only does this reporting find all the people involved in that image, but it finds additional images from that event, from other angles. So, yeah, this is pretty cool.
Oh, this Boy Scout-related image.
Yes.
I have seen that.
Yep, I know all those people.
Okay,
I am there behind the camera. I did not take that picture, but I am behind the camera in that picture.
Yeah, that image is not that popular. But yes, I do remember you telling me this previously.
So
this is an instance of Rim not lying.
The other
Very rare.
This is my thing of the day, is that most of you will look at this image and say, wow, what an ancient and crazy era for that like old wizards enjoyed gaming.
The good days.
My LAN party days were way before this image was taken. To put it in perspective,
you didn't play Counter-Strike, you had to play Doom, and you liked it.
We were playing Doom 2.
Quake 1 is for the rich kids.
Yeah. We were playing, in fact,
we could have a voodoo card.
The game we played the most at this LAN party was Action Quake.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also the LAN party that I saw Father Frag's Best.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Voodoo cards.
The co-optional podcast. I have no idea what that is.
What's the co-optional podcast?
Someone was watching the co-optional podcast. I've never heard of that.
How could you watch a podcast? You listen to a podcast.
Maybe it's a video. People are watching this podcast right now.
It's not a podcast they're watching. They're watching a live stream. It's a live stream of people making a podcast.
Yeah, someone wanted me to fart to prove it's live. But I did fart earlier. So.
iPad on head, shoe on head. It's like, come on. Okay.
All right. In the meta moment, the book club book is the 5th season.
Mm-hmm. I am reading this book. I'm basically like 40% done with this book.
I read the first chapter, and I like it a lot.
You haven't even seen the second chapter.
The planet they're on reminds me of that planet at the end of Player of Games.
That's also the first thing that I thought of when I thought of planets where you don't want to live.
That planet at the end of Player of Games is an A+ planet.
This is also, there's a lot of elements of the planet from
Dune?
The one with the thieves. Loch Lamra.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's ancient shit lying around that no one knows what the hell who's from.
Yo, guy, if you want to get my goat when it comes to like a book, if you've got precursor technology.
This has more precursor shit than anything I've read since like Star Control 3.
Precursor tech.
Star Control 3, which is literally.
Complicated magic system.
Star Control 3, which is literally about precursors, and it's like you are in the precursor vessel. This is the second most precursor thing.
But yeah, this is the book club. We're both reading it. We'll do the show at some point in the near future. I feel like we're going to blow through it.
It won the Hugo Award 2 years ago, and the sequel won the Hugo Award this year, and the third, I guess, assume final maybe book is out now.
The hardcover of this apparently...
How could it be bad when it's that kind of a claim?
It's apparently hard to get because there's only one for sale on Amazon for $250, meaning...
I got the one that is made of electrons.
I also got that one.
It was the cheapest version and is the most convenient, regardless of its DRM.
Some people have said that books 2 and 3 are good, but not as good. Like
I have heard wide variety of opinions on book 2 and 3, but so far I'm reading book 1, and I'm, why not read book 2 if I can confirm or deny for myself? And then if book 2 is bad, then I can skip on 3. Who
Yeah,
kno-
it's not like the
I
Dune
I
books.
can't imagine how could this thing that usually, we just talked about PUBG, right? How can a thing when it is so acclaimed by so many, it almost always turns out to be there's a reason for it, except Ready Player One, which is trash.
Yep. I still think that was because it was sent to its perfect audience.
I just can't imagine how could book 2 of this be bad. Anyway, you only have to read book 1 for the book club, so do that.
Yep.
I have not heard anyone say anything bad about book 1, and I haven't read anything bad in book 1, so go for it.
And otherwise, we were at PAX West. We did a panel. If you were there and you found this podcast because of that panel, and you're looking for all the videos we said you should watch, you're already on the YouTube channel. And if you're listening to the podcast, go to our website and click on that Live at PAX West 2017, and I linked to those videos.
I also have my own YouTube channel, which is not this YouTube channel, and I'm making videos on there more than I have in the past, and I have somewhat consistently kept up with it-ish.
And most importantly, Scott produced a vlog of our experiences daily at PAX
Oh, yeah,
West.
I did. I made a video every day at PAX because someone said I couldn't do it, and I did it the way I said I would do it, and it worked just fine.
It was a pain in the ass because it'd be like 1
It was
in the
only a
morning.
pain in the ass because I had to edit video at 1 in the morning. It wasn't...
Dude, it was a pain in the ass for me, and all I had to do was stand next to you and talk for a couple minutes before I could go to bed, and even that was kind of a pain in the ass.
Also, I didn't talk about it on this episode, but big shakeups are going on in the world of Netrunner. And I'm going to not talk about it on Geek Nights because you don't want to hear that shit, but I am going to make
Netrunner with Scott?
1 or 2 videos, probably just talking at the camera about what's going down.
You could talk about it in the first half of a show, because how much do I talk about Overwatch? You can talk about...
No. There's so much...
You can talk about Netrunner to that level.
No, because Netrunner, there's so much... Now it's like more has gone down in the past 2 days of Netrunner. It's like I could talk about it for like an hour.
Nah.
I'm not going to talk about it for an hour.
The thing is, I don't even play Netrunner, and I got a lot of opinions about what's going down. That's the scale of what's going down.
All I'm going to say on Geek Nights is that if you've thought about Netrunner, right, just wait a little bit. They're going to put out this new box. Just buy that one box and just play it as a 2-player game with your friends, and don't buy any other stuff. And then if you decide you want to do tournaments and shit, then come back to me, right? But the time for trying Netrunner again is going to be soon. Not right now.
Yep.
But soon, like a couple months maybe.
We probably will talk about the L5R game at some point, but...
you buy that shit. I'm not buying that.
I'm going to get someone else to buy it who is not you or me.
I'm not spending my money on that.
I'm going to read the rules.
Netrunner or bust. If Netrunner dies, I'm sticking with digital games.
Yeah, the thing is, I got Overwatch. I'm good. Overwatch.
I'll go back to regular old board games if Netrunner dies.
Overwatch is on an upswing still, so I'm
I still play Hearthstone every day. I get to do my quests.
Yeah, by skipping Hearthstone, I have gained the world.
Yeah.
I can play so many other games.
Hearthstone's a good game.
Netrunner or Hearthstone.
Well, those are good games.
But now I got to play West of Loathing and PUBG.
I'm gonna play West of Loathing and PUBG.
I'm real into
maybe PUBG, but definitely West of Loathing.
Yeah, West of Loathing is, especially because at PAX Dev, obviously I can't talk about PAX Dev other than that it was the best PAX Dev yet, like for real, for a lot of reasons. I'm very happy I went to that PAX Dev. But Kingdom of Loathing came up like 4 times in independent discussions, independent of West of Loathing, and 2 of the people who brought up Kingdom of Loathing did not know that West of Loathing came out.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom of Loathing is more important than I had kind of expected it to be. And thinking back on my experiences with that game was real good.
The only thing I remember is Goofballs and the Misspelled Cemetery.
Hey, kid. You want some goofballs?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Dude, it's funny because you tried the goofballs, right? I did not. I knew better.
You never tried Goofballs
I never
even
tried
once?
Goofballs.
I tried them several times.
Yeah. I knew better. That dude, I did not trust him for shit.
I got on Goofballs. I got off of Goofballs. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's get on Goofballs again.
No.
I got nothing better to do. Let's goofball.
In the morning, you ask, do you have any more goofballs? And the only answer to that is, no one who uses goofballs has ever woken up in the morning and still had goofballs. So, we played a game with Chris, Anthony, and Tracy at PAX that is a good review because it's not a legacy game like write stuff on the board and then like it changes the story.
Nope.
It's a game that you can play once because you destroy it physically in the course of playing
Yes,
it.
it is a one-time use disposable board game. You buy it. How much does it cost? 15, 20 bucks?
Yeah, not much.
You open it, you play it with your friends. It takes about an hour, and then it's done, which actually you might think, oh, what a waste of money that is. It's like, hey, asshole, you probably spent $15 just for one movie ticket for one person
Down here,
for about the same amount of time. And
Down
this is
here-
giving you 4 friends or 5 friends or more. How many players is it?
many?
Yeah.
1 to 6.
Yeah, up to 6 people can have an hour of fun with the one box. So it's only game on the disposable part, right?
Right here, I have an ogre box that I have played 0.5 times.
I'll pay the amount of money it costs for one person to go to sit in one seat in one hockey game. You could buy this game. How many times could you buy this game?
So this game.
So there's nothing wrong with the disposable factor of this game.
Yep. The fun per dollar was well within reason.
Right.
We played Exit the Game Secret Lab. And it's important to say the whole title because there's an entire series of exit games, including such titles as The Polar Station, The Pharaoh's Tomb, The Forbidden Castle, The Forgotten Island, and The Abandoned Cave.
So what the deal
The
is...
something to something.
Right. So what the deal with this is it's basically an escape room in a box, right? It's made of paper and bits, but it's an escape room.
Yep.
And it's
In fact, it is, I would say, it is functionally indistinguishable from a real, physical, high-money escape room.
For every escape room that I have seen, I agree. Right?
So now, to the full disclosure, I have done, because Emily's company, the previous one, we did like an outing where we all went to one of those like fancy escape rooms in Manhattan. And it was real good. Like the production value was way higher than you would expect.
but not high enough for Scott. How much did it cost?
I don't know. Nothing, because I just went to it. Like,
Oh, okay.
But
I bet it cost more than $15 for 6 people.
yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
But the only benefit, the only difference between the physical big money escape room and this is that some of the puzzles involved crazy complicated physical shit. Like there's a bust in a room, and if you move it somewhere else, a door opens. Like pick it up.
It's a silver monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all triggered with like switches and stuff. It's not like it's actually like built to work for real.
Sure.
This basically only has paper and cardboard.
Yeah, there's a card mechanism where you can tell if you've solved the riddle or not, and then it will take you. You open up the next thing, and now you're in the next room, and you get more stuff, so you can solve more riddles to get more stuff to solve more riddles, and eventually you solve the final riddle, and it's like congratulations, and you read the end of the story.
So this instance, Exit the Game, The Secret Lab, won the 2017 Kennerspiel des Jahres.
which is the kids' Spiel des Jahres, which makes perfect sense because
I thought wasn't that the Kinderspiel? The Kenner is like the puzzle one, I thought.
I don't know. I don't figure it out. It's not the regular Spiel des Jahres, but it's still great enough to be worthy of winning an award, right? So here's the thing. I'm really not a fan, personally, of escape rooms. It's just like I don't like them. And the number one reason I don't like them is because I feel like...
Yeah, Scott, Kennerspiel is the connoisseur/expert game.
This is not a connoisseur expert game.
Well, it's niche, though.
It is.
This is, you talk about gaming and how there's like niche market, core market, extent, like all those different markets. This is definitely at best. You could probably sell these extended market, but this is definitely like aimed at niche/core.
Yes. But anyway, the thing I don't like about escape rooms is I think that they're basically... It's a misnomer, right? It's like when I think of an escape room, if I'm going to go to a physical place,
You think of Saw.
all right, I
think of
want
Saw,
like if
but
I'm
it
going
won't
to
actually
if
kill
I'm
you.
going to pay to go to an escape room, I'm thinking not this kind of random puzzle numerology bullshit. It's like I want some Houdini shit. Right? Tie me the fuck up with chains and locks. It's like, good luck, motherfucker. We're closing the safe on you, right?
Yup.
That's an escape
You
room.
want to like break a window, and now you're in basically
Right.
American Ninja Warrior, and you've got to like escape.
I've had this idea. It's similar to my feelings on haunted houses, right? It's like you go to a haunted house, and you know that it's some guy jumping out going boo, and it's like, whatever.
So what, you want a haunted house where a guy comes out and actually cuts you a little? Like,
That would be okay.
Yeah.
But what I really want is a haunted house where you go in the haunted house, and then they're like, they turn all the lights on, and the fire alarm goes off, and they're like, and the guy takes off his ghost sheet, and he's like, oh, sorry, guys, I guess we got to evacuate.
Oh, and then 3 years later, you're still in the game.
You go.
You're like home with your wife.
You open the emergency exit. The emergency exit opens up. You go out down some stairs. You're obviously behind the scenes. You're actually, you feel like you're not in the haunted house anymore, but you are.
So,
and
Scott,
it's actually scary.
Did you ever see the movie The Game?
No, is that what that is?
That's what that is. It's
That's
actually a pretty good movie.
How come I can't go to the game in real life?
There are places that do that in New York, actually.
But I would know that is that kind of place when I'm going there.
Well, that's the plot of this movie, The Game, which I remember liking as a kid because I was in like high school. I do not know if it holds up.
We have to set up what looks like a perfectly innocent haunted house at a tourist attraction that's not innocent.
Well, Scott, so The Game was made by the same person who made Seven, so.
Ah, good movie, that
Yeah.
Seven. Anyway, so the point is the escape rooms, what they really are, what they should be called is solve stupid number and letter riddles with friends.
They're way more specific than that. Escape rooms almost always follow a very specific pattern. There are a number of gates. And the gate can be anything. It could be a lock. It could be a puzzle. Doesn't matter. It's a gate.
Mm-hmm.
And the gates require between 1 and 5 alphanumeric inputs.
Mm-hmm.
So the puzzle all, like every puzzle, all bakes down to what combination of things that I have access to can I convert somehow into the correct number of inputs of the correct type?
It's really like open these 5 combination locks, but we're not going to just give you the numbers. We're going to give you the numbers heavily obfuscated.
So I
figure
tend to
them
solve
out.
them by looking for, all right, we need 5 inputs in this puzzle. Is there 5 of anything anywhere?
Yep.
Well, there's 5 balls on the ground, so let's see if there's a way to translate balls into numbers.
Right. So it is.
But there's one other mechanic. The other thing that these all have in common is you'll have, at almost every moment, multiple gates, some of which can be solved with the data you already have, and some of which can be solved either with the data you already have coupled with external knowledge, or the data you already have coupled with data you get when you get through further locks.
Right.
So they're parallel.
They don't
so
give
people
you
can split
right.
up the puzzles.
They also give you data in advance that you don't need yet because the gate is not available yet, and they'll give you gates you don't have the data for yet, and so on and so forth. So now you have to figure out not only how to, use the information to create the codes you need, but also which information is relevant to which thing.
Yep.
So
but what they also do not do is they don't have fatal consequences like, well, you fucked it up. They don't have...
It's just time. It's like, how fast can you get out, or do you get out in time?
Yep.
That's it.
They don't have triggers like, oh, you didn't defuse the bomb right. Now the bomb's going to go off sooner. Or
No.
like one of your teammates is out of the game or anything like that.
That would be better, I think. But no, they don't. So
No, that'd be awesome.
the
You
thing,
like open the wrong
That's what
door.
I said. It would be better if they did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be better than what escape rooms are, right? If they had bombs that go off, it's like, oh, sorry, you paid for this escape room, but you didn't solve the bomb and it blew up. Everyone out.
But basically, other than
You're done.
the physical...
You don't get to see the rest of the escape room. Pay and try again.
Other than the physical aesthetic of being in an actual physical room, Exit the Game is basically identical to the experience of an actual escape room.
Mm-hmm. So while it is fun to solve riddles, I guess if you like solving, cryptogram type, things, it's fun to an extent. You can get tired of it after a while, but it's okay. It's more fun to do it with friends because they can help each other out, and especially if if you have a person who's smart enough, they can just figure the whole thing out by themselves.
But it's more fun to sort of collaborate. Because
And also because there's multiple things to work on simultaneously. It's like you can get through more efficiently with more people.
Well, like me and Tracy were like puzzling over those flags while you guys were working on a puzzle I didn't even really interact with.
Yeah, but then the stuff comes together and you put your pieces together, right? It's like it's fun to solve riddles with friends, and this will give you about an hour of fun riddle solving with friends, which is perfectly fine. But I'm still not really into escape rooms. It's like I wouldn't go out and like obsessively go get the whole set of these.
But if
I
someone
wouldn't pay to
brought
go
one
to.
of- these are a great convention game. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel
great
like,
convention game.
If anyone brings one of these I haven't played to a convention I'm at, I'll probably just play it.
It's the kind of thing where I'd be in the mood to do it once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Like if you brought one out of these, like, hey, Scott, let's do one now. I'd be like, no. If you even brought one on the weekend with a bunch of people, I'd be like, no, I just did that. I'm not feeling that stupid thing again. But if
PAX
it
West next year,
at PAX West next year, you got another one, and if it's the Pharaoh's Tomb one, I'd probably do it.
yeah,
But if it's what were the other lame ones?
I don't know.
The polar one? Yeah, I'd be like, I don't want to do the polar one.
I don't know. You read the Terror, right? I could do some polar nonsense.
I didn't read the Tower, but I don't care.
I might make that the next book club book, even though I've read it before. Because
that's cheating. Oh, you want to do that? All right, Once the Future King. Here we go. I've read it. Have you read it?
Yeah, I'll read it again. I love that book.
I'll have to find a book I've read that you haven't read.
Careful, son, because Count of Monte Cristo is the sword of No, it's the book of Damocles hanging over you, because if it fell on you, it would kill you just the same as a sword.
I just want to read it. What are you going to do about it? You can't make me. You can't make me.
You gonna ruin the book club? The social contract.
I'll get the cliff note. What you gonna do about it?
Kind of. You know what?
I'll watch a movie. What you gonna do about it?
The movies are all the movies.
I bet I can fool you.
And
make you think I read it. I watched the anime.
I've also watched the anime.
Uh-huh.
I would know specifically if you only watch the anime, because certain things.
I forget most of the anime.
The anime is great, actually. Like, I think the anime Count of Monte Cristo is more in the spirit of the book, despite taking gratuitous liberties, than any other adaptation of the Count of Monte Cristo anyone has ever made. But the end to the anime is bullshit. It is a terrible ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is so bad and so poorly done that it kind of ruined. Like, that is an A-, B+ anime if you don't watch the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the last episode, it's like B, maybe a B, probably just a B, maybe a B-.
Anyway, so exit game thingy. If you got enough friends who like solving number letter visual kind of puzzles, right? The kind of friends who would be excited if you told them you had tickets to an escape room. And if you don't mind spending $15 for an hour of fun with 5 or 6 friends that you can only do one time, then buy one of these things and go for it. And maybe if your friends are the kind who are way into it, you could buy a whole set of these things and go nuts. Otherwise, maybe let someone else, like I did, spend the money and just tag along and play for free, which is totally worth doing it at least one time. Hey.
Yeah.
And it's pretty, it's even if you don't like doing the thing I think I enjoyed the most about it actually was not the solving of the puzzles, because like I can get that just like solving puzzles in a puzzle book from the drugstore.
Yeah.
It was seeing how they put this thing together. Like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, the double index lookup.
Right, the double index with the cards and the paper you tear apart. Like, how it was physically constructed was very clever. And, like, it's like, oh, the people who made this, I see what they did there. That is cool.
Yeah.
How they do that. There was like there was like a little clock and a compass we made and stuff.
Yeah, the only red herring we ran into was for a minute, we were all like, is this Star Tropics? Do we need to make this wet? So we spit on something.
I licked my finger and then rubbed my spit on the paper because we didn't have any water available, and I didn't want to make the whole paper soggy.
Scott, there was water 12 feet away from us.
I didn't want to like soggy the whole paper, like destroy it, right?
What is a tiny bit of water on
But
it?
I thought, hey, maybe if I breathe on it, like magic ink will appear.
Yeah.
They should have done that. Missed opportunity.
The physicality
and for
of it.
$15, they should be doing that.
Yeah,
kind
like
of
we
stuff.
had to tear some stuff apart, and we're like, oh, I don't think we need to tear this. No, we needed to tear it apart. Like the physicality of it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem with these games is that the puzzle, like the logic of the puzzle, a couple of times barely made sense.
Well, I mean, the fiction of these things never makes sense. It's like, oh, I locked you in my lab and made you solve puzzles before you could escape.
Well, the fiction of this one
it's like it's like
the
60s Batman. I'm the Riddler, solve my riddles.
The fiction of this one was that we're mixing different chemicals together to make compounds.
Yeah, that was not, that was nonsense.
But the problem is that the logic of like, how did they expect you to solve the puzzle? Like, what was the chain of logic that they expect you to solve it with? We solved some of them not quite that way, because you don't need to have a logical chain. You just need to be able to convert the right number of inputs.
Yes, I basically, as I was solving it, I just looked past all the fiction and only looked at the numbers and letters and colors.
Did I do a transformation that made 5 alphanumeric characters come up? That is almost definitely the answer.
Yep.
And we were never wrong. If we were able to make an output, we were right. The only times we were wrong is when we made an output from scratch, just by
So if you're
guessing.
looking to be immersed in the fiction, this is not going to help you. Neither is even the most high production quality escape room. You're going to need the Scott level escape room to be immersed in the fiction. That's the only way it's going to happen.
All right, we done.
Would I go to jail if I made a Scott level escape room?